When people talk about business failure, they often assume the idea wasn't good enough, that the market wasn't ready, or that luck just wasn't on their side. But I've seen enough to know that's not usually the case. The real reason most businesses collapse so quickly isn't because the dream was impossible, but because the person behind it never actually knew what they were building in the first place. They started with excitement, with adrenaline, with this intoxicating rush of freedom that comes from saying, "I'm going to start something of my own." And don't get me wrong, that's a powerful place to begin, but excitement has an expiration date. Excitement doesn't pay your bills, excitement doesn't attract customers, and excitement doesn't keep you going at 3 in the morning when your head is heavy and your bank account is light. What most people call vision is nothing more than enthusiasm, and enthusiasm without structure, without clarity, without a roadmap. That's not vision. That's noise. That's why so many entrepreneurs crash before they even leave the runway. They're fueled by energy, but they don't have direction. Imagine you're in a car with a full tank of gas, but you don't know where you're going. Sure, you can drive fast, you can enjoy the ride, but sooner or later you're going to run out of fuel in the middle of nowhere. That's exactly what happens to new business owners. They launch with passion, they move fast, they sprint out of the gate, but they never stop to ask, where am I actually going? What problem am I solving? What am I building that people will pay for again and again? See, a vision isn't some fancy slogan you slap on your website. It's not some motivational phrase you rehearse for investors. A vision is a picture so clear in your mind that it directs every single decision you make. It tells you who your customers are. It tells you why they should care. It tells you what makes your work necessary. And most importantly, it becomes the thing you lean on when everything else is falling apart. Because make no mistake, things will fall apart. Business is messy. Customers will reject you. Expenses will eat you alive. There will be days when you question whether you should have ever started. And if you don't have that picture in your head so vivid, so specific, that you can see it when you close your eyes, you won't last. You'll quit, and that's why 92% fail. I'll tell you the truth, passion is not enough. Passion is fuel, yes, but it's not the engine. The engine is clarity. Passion will make you start, but clarity will make you endure. And endurance is the difference between failure and survival. That's why you'll see some people with less talent, less money, less connections, but with a clear vision, they outlast everyone else. They might stumble, they might pivot, but they don't stop because they know where they're going. And when you know where you're going, you can survive storms that wipe out everyone else. The tragedy is that most people never sit down long enough to answer the hard questions before they start. They rush in, thinking enthusiasm is all they need, and then reality slams into them. And when it does, they mistake the pain for a sign they should quit. But the pain isn't a sign you should quit. It's a sign you didn't prepare. It's a sign you had no map. So if you want to be part of the 8% who make it past the first year, you need more than energy, more than hype, more than I've always wanted to be my own boss. You need to define where you're going. You need to be able to articulate, in one breath, why you exist and why it matters. Because when you don't know your destination, every obstacle looks like the end of the road. But when your destination is crystal clear, every obstacle becomes just another step on the path. Clarity isn't optional, it's survival, and without it, your business will die before it even has a chance to live. And once you have that clarity, once you know exactly where you're going, here's the next challenge. And this is where most people collapse. It's not the vision that destroys them. It's not even the lack of opportunity. It's that they completely underestimate the price of discipline and consistency. See, in the beginning, business feels exciting. You're full of energy, you're making plans, you're telling people what you're building. And for a few weeks, maybe even a few months, that excitement carries you. You stay up late, you make phone calls, you build the website, you put in the hours. But then something happens. The momentum slows. The results don't show up as fast as you thought they would. Customers take longer to trust you. Bills pile up faster than sales come in. And suddenly, that excitement you were running on disappears. This is where people quit. Not because the business can't work, not because the opportunity is gone, but because they were relying on motivation to carry them instead of discipline. Motivation is like a spark. It lights you up for a moment, but it burns out just as quickly. Discipline is the firewood. It's what keeps the flame alive long after the spark is gone. And most people never stack enough wood to last. Discipline is the unglamorous work no one talks about. It's making sales calls when you'd rather scroll your phone. It's showing up to meetings when you'd rather stay in bed. It's doing the accounting, the marketing, the planning again and again, even when no one's watching, even when you're tired, even when it feels like nothing's working. That's the rent you pay every single day to keep your business alive. And most people don't want to pay it. They want the reward without the repetition. Consistency is the great separator. It's not intelligence. It's not luck. It's not even talent. Consistency beats all of that. You look at the people who have built something that lasts. They weren't always the smartest. They weren't always the most innovative, but they were relentless. They did the boring things, the necessary things, over and over again until the results became undeniable. But here's what kills so many new entrepreneurs. They think success is about big moves, big breaks, and big opportunities. They're waiting for some magical moment that will change everything. That moment never comes. Success isn't built in leaps. It's built in steps, tiny, unremarkable, often invisible steps. And those steps only add up when you're disciplined enough to take them every single day, whether you feel like it or not. Think about it this way. Discipline is a muscle. If you only use it when it's convenient, it stays weak. But if you exercise it daily, even in small ways, it grows stronger. And the stronger it gets, the more resilient you become. In business, resilience is everything, because there will be weeks when nothing works. There will be days when you feel like you're talking to an empty room. There will be mornings when you wonder why you're even trying. And in those moments, the only thing that carries you forward isn't passion, it isn't vision. It's the habit of showing up. The uncomfortable truth is that success is boring. It's repetitive. It's grinding. It's not highlight reels. It's not glamorous speeches. It's not the adrenaline of a new launch. It's routine. It's structure. It's paying the price day after day, until one day the world can no longer ignore you. And this is why 92% don't make it. They quit before discipline could save them. They confuse the grind with failure, when in reality, the grind is the path. They think slow results mean no results, but that's not true. Slow results are proof you're building something real. But if you walk away too soon, you'll never know what was waiting just beyond the struggle. So hear me on this. If you want to be in the 8%, stop waiting for motivation. Stop looking for shortcuts. Build the muscle of discipline. Commit to the repetition. Show up when it's hard, when it's boring, when it feels like nothing's happening. Because the ones who win aren't the ones who start strong, they're the ones who refuse to stop. Consistency is the price. Discipline is the weapon. And if you won't pay it, don't expect to survive.